So I wanted to update you, my subscribers. I tend to assume that it's just my subscribers that are going to watch these videos that don't look particularly interesting with my face in the van. I wanted to update you because I know that many of you are interested in the progression of the business and how it relates to your businesses, trying to make a living from woodwork. A lot's been happening. I've rarely been as tired, I would say. Since 2 weekends ago, I was working morning till night to finish and assemble the board gaming table, which I've not really shown a whole lot about on this channel. I now have this other channel which I'm dedicating to marketing that. But if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll have seen more of it. So I'm not going to find time to drop pictures into this video, so look it up there if you want to. I suppose the reason I thought you might be interested is that this is a new departure. I've thought for some time now that going into freestanding furniture in a niche market, so a high quality, unusual piece of furniture that has a market but not a lot of competition, I've been thinking that could be the way to go to crack the problem of trying to earn a decent living with preferably a minimum of headaches in this line of work. So I'm now driving back from the first day exhibiting this table, having had just a crazy week of making it, satisfying myself that it was months really of planning of the whole CNC design of it, with all the different parts fitting together with different types of joints and that sort of thing, the optimization of the wood that I used open-eared birch ply, really optimized it so it all nested perfectly into just 3 sheets of ply. It finally came together. I got it back from the CNC shop. I tried a new wood finish on it that worked really well, and I was finally satisfied. This is a really nice piece of work, and it works. It does what it should, with quite an understated design aesthetic, which I'm very proud of. So I got to work marketing it, because the big rush was because I was trying to get it to the UK Games Expo at the Birmingham NEC. So I have just been at the first day, the Friday, which was very busy, but I'm told it's going to be manic tomorrow on the Saturday. And the response was fantastic. Now, there were a very small number of other board gaming table manufacturers there. One that I knew of well, the big player in the market, Geek & Son, who do make very nice tables, and some other sort of new players. And I've got to say, walking around looking at the competition, I was really, really encouraged that we have our place in the market, and there are a few distinctives about our table. Feedback was really great from everybody that came over to see it. They're seeing the attention to detail and care that I've put into the design, and I think I'm onto something here. I think it is entirely viable to bring this to the next stage, which is to launch a Kickstarter campaign to fund setting up a new workshop with a CNC machine to put this into production, because the demand is there. What I'm now very, very wary of is underpricing it, which is such a familiar habit with the fitted furniture, and it's so tempting to think that this could be the silver bullet. And because I've designed it in a way to effectively mass produce it, although there is a lot of hand finishing, it's tempting to want to go in at a highly competitive price and then risk not fully accounting for the costs involved, or I don't know, maybe callbacks, maybe something doesn't work quite right, maybe all the issues that happen so often with fitted furniture. I'm just trying not to be naive and idealistic, because it's a new venture, and it's really lit my fire again. I'm excited about this. I've really got my teeth into the design. I see it as a new departure. So I don't know what I'm getting at, particularly just sharing with you where I'm at this stage of growth of the business, because ever since I did that video of my workshop as it now is, I wanted that to be like a marker in the sand, and to look back on that one day and say, oh, that's where I used to be, and to take you along with me on this journey to something bigger and better. To update you further, there's a few other things that are brewing, and I guess I'm just hopeful that I'll be close to the point where I can be sharing with you some real successes alongside the various mistakes and struggles and failures that I so often share with you. I'm hopeful that I won't be forever stuck in that place, but we'll be showing you a business that's really thriving. So something I don't think I mentioned is, around about this time last year, I got the opportunity to work on a TV show which is due to air, I believe, within the next few weeks. They keep putting it back. I think the final title is Interior Design Masters. It went through a few different titles. The format of the show is very much like The Apprentice, but the contestants are interior designers. So you start with 10 designers each in the first episode designing a room, and then they're whittled down with this very rigorous judging process with some big name interior design judges. So quite a high profile, high budget type of show, and I just somehow got my foot in the door through contacts and just having enough courage to ring up the right people and say, would you consider me to be one of the carpenters in the background? So certainly not a designer or anything, but one of the carpenters making the things that the designers designed. And it was the most fun I'd had in ages. I just loved it. It was long days, 12-hour days, but it was pretty well paid, and it was, despite being very hard work, it was like a rest, because I could turn up, get a good rate, meet some fantastic people, work as part of a bigger team, which I have a great team now, but I get tired of being at the helm of it. I really enjoyed just having a bit part in this bigger thing and seeing something come together. I absolutely loved it. And it was strangely like a rest, because as much as I was working hard, I could just forget about pricing, planning, just turn up, get my tools out, solve problems and make stuff, and then see this great result at the end. So I really loved it. That will be airing, and I will give you a heads up on my social media about when it's coming out. I'm not in every episode, not that nice. But that was a real boost, and there's so much I want to talk to you all about. I've touched on mental health before. I was pretty depressed and suffering from insomnia last year when this opportunity came up, and all that negative self-talk in my head was saying, I can't do this, I'm not a proper joiner, because I've done very little site work. I thought I was going to be shown up as a sham. I thought, what am I doing putting myself forward for this? I'm not going to have the stamina, because there was a lot of unknowns. I didn't really know what would be expected of me, but somehow I just put myself forward, and despite being very close to pulling out, thinking I'm just going to look like a fool on TV because I just wasn't in a good frame of mind at all, I did it, and ended up absolutely loving it, getting fantastic feedback that totally boosted my confidence. And what this was, it was an anchor point. It's something I talked about with a counsellor that I've been seeing, because as a family we've had quite a traumatic time when my son was born, which again I've touched upon, and I intend to tell you more of my story. I sort of feel like it's time to let you in a little bit more and tell you more of my story and what's motivating me to do what I do. do these YouTube videos to really push myself and try and build a better future. So I do intend to do that, but I don't want to start on it now fully. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I'd been seeing a counsellor, no shame in that, and she used this term anchor point. So when you're stuck and everything seems bad, and that's all you think about, the way things work is you get more of what you think about, you get more of the same, you reinforce that negativity. If you can do something different and go against all those negative voices in your head, and then find that you succeed at it, because you're always capable of more than you think, then that becomes an evidence in your own history where you say, oh, well, I did do that. I am capable of that. I can push through. I'm not always depressed. And often you've got to do something different. You've got to get out of your head and get out of whatever it is you're stuck in. And so looking back now, I feel like that was such a significant step to do that new thing. And because around that time, I suppose around the time I really started YouTubing, or a little bit before it, I was very, very stuck and actually quite hopeless. In fact, deep down, absolutely convinced that there was no happy future for me. And I know there'll be people watching this who can relate to be in that lonely place of despair that you know nobody else fully understands, but you've just got to get on with it, that you feel that you've missed your opportunities in life, you've made mistakes, you're landed with too many responsibilities and constraints that you're never quite going to find your way through to something more meaningful or fulfilling. Maybe it's just me, but I was not in a good place. And looking back now, I realise what a long way I've come, and a lot of it is through hard work, but the absolute key is finding passion. And I knew this before, and I was sort of hanging around business networks and people that were talking about the importance of positive thinking and that sort of thing, but I just couldn't fully access it. I was stuck. I've realised now, looking back over the past year, I am in such a better place. I have confidence that I can achieve things, and I have discovered the will to push through for the long term. Because when you're very down, it's very hard to push through. Everything becomes too much. You can get into a place of problem minimization. I've had long periods of that problem minimization. Let's just make everything as easy as possible, and you end up in retreat. And you can only go backwards, and you sort of know it, but you can't muster the energy to do anything else. So anyway, somehow I broke it. I suppose I'm sharing it because I want you to know that if you're stuck in that place, you can get out of it. I don't know what the thing will be for you, but it may involve putting yourself in a position that you think you can't step up to, and then discovering you can, and then you build on that. You step up more. So now I've got some more TV work, which is exciting. The George Clark Show, and I feel like there are people that have seen my previous work and trust me. So there's a door open there. I've got this games table thing, which could be the new direction of the business, quite feasibly. That's how it seems now. Although I do need to be careful to make the right choices and get the right advice now going forward. So with YouTube, I've gone over 1,000 subscribers, and the way I see this whole thing is lining up opportunities and lining up allies. There's kind of a plan with what I'm doing, but the plan keeps sort of changing a bit. The whole underlying thing is giving to build connections, really. Happy to give my knowledge, because we can be afraid to give as if it's going to diminish us, but giving doesn't diminish us. Giving helps us to grow. It expands us. It expands our influence and the trust that people have in us. And so for every piece of knowledge that is hard won and that I've just given away without charging for it, I'm getting so much back. I get so many people contact me now, and I learn from them. They share things with me, and I've said this before, I do find it funny, people continue to approach me as an expert, however many times I say all the mistakes I've made and all this sort of stuff. But I suppose being an expert is not about always getting it right, it's about having the experience, which will always include mistakes. So it's nice to see that you can be honest and not suffer from it. I've always thought honesty and integrity are the best policy, and they can be painful in the short term, but there is always a return on that, a payback. So I'm not sure if there's anywhere else to go with what I'm saying right now. I just really wanted to update you on a few things, let you in a little bit on where I'm at, mainly because I think sharing my journey is an encouragement to those of you also on a similar journey, and your journey will be unique. But I value this community around YouTube, Instagram, of other woodworkers, and how we can share stuff and learn from each other. So always happy to hear from subscribers and hear about what you're doing and things. Have confidence in yourself. Don't get down when you see these pristine projects that other people do and these opportunities that other people have. When you see them showing their best to you on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, we all have our struggles, and those who are achieving excellent work, I can guarantee, have gone through great difficulties like what you may be going through. Just keep plugging away, doing the best you can do, find your passion, be open to opportunities, and keep learning, because things will open up as you keep just pressing on, working hard, always developing, always growing, being open, giving, seeing what you can learn from others. It will have a payback, and it may take years of nothing, but you just have to trust, keep going, and it will work out. Okay, I'm almost at my friend's house that I'm staying at in Leamington Spa, before another 2 long days of promoting the games table. So I will sign off, and thank you for watching and for subscribing. Bye.